What if our history is not as we were told? What if the stories we've passed down through textbooks, lectures, and documentaries have done more to divide us than to unite us? What if the very timeline of humanity is a house of cards built on shaky speculation, flawed theories, and agendas hidden in plain sight? Welcome to a journey that may shatter the boundaries of what you thought was truth. A journey not into conspiracy, but into contemplation, into courage, into rediscovery. Because the deeper we dig, the more we realize that secular history, the version widely taught and globally accepted, leaves us with more questions than answers. And perhaps the most profound question of all is this: what if the human story is more recent, more unified, and more intelligent than we've ever been told? Secular history tells us that humankind has roamed the earth for hundreds of thousands, even millions of years. It paints the picture of primitive apes slowly evolving into various types of humans, each given different names, stages, and evolutionary links. But what if that's not true? What if the timeline is off? What if humankind is not hundreds of thousands of years old, but far younger? Perhaps less than 10,000 years. Why does it matter? Because how we perceive our origins shapes how we perceive one another. If we believe that some nations are more ancient than others, more evolved than others, then it's no surprise that history became a tool of pride, prejudice, and supremacy. It fosters division. It fuels superiority complexes. But what if we were never meant to be divided by our past, but united by it? Let's face it, many of us were taught that we came from apes, that human civilization is just a long evolutionary accident, that some humans are closer to that primal state than others, and that evolution birthed races, nations, and tribes in scattered succession. But again, we must ask, where is the proof? Why do bloodlines, actual human DNA, rarely enter this discussion? If the goal of historical inquiry is to uncover the truth, then why is it that DNA and bloodline research is often ignored when tracing civilization? Could it be that what we call science is sometimes selective? Could it be that we were conditioned to believe in division, not unity? It is disheartening that ancient monuments have become more important than brotherhood. We are quick to debate over who built the pyramids, who erected the ziggurats, who carved the statues, and who designed the temples. These debates often devolve into nationalism, racial arrogance, and identity wars. We say, I am descended from the builders. I am the origin. These are our achievements, not theirs. But what if that's the wrong lens entirely? What if these monuments weren't built by a single race, tribe, or nation, but by collective civilizations functioning as systems? In any ancient civilization, there were rulers, elites, priests, scholars, farmers, slaves. Many of these slaves were from other nations, other races. So if a pyramid was built, whose achievement was it really? Was it the king who envisioned it, or the nameless thousands who carried the stones? This is the danger of judging history by monuments. We forget the human spirit. We ignore the brotherhood. We marvel at ancient wonders, the Great Wall, the pyramids, Great Zimbabwe, Machu Picchu. We ask, how did they do it without machinery? But maybe the question is not how, but why we cannot. Our ancestors were brilliant. They didn't rely on artificial intelligence. They used true intelligence, raw, ancestral skill passed from hand to hand, generation to generation. They smelted iron. They forged tools. They built empires with nothing but earth, stone, and genius. Today, we are told we need degrees and machines to replicate what they did. Yet the truth is, as modern people, we are not progressing, we are forgetting. We no longer pass down knowledge. We no longer teach our children how to survive without the system. In many ways, we have regressed. To uncover the truth of human history, we must look beyond monuments and into bloodlines. Our origins are not hidden in temples. They are flowing in our veins. We are not strangers, scattered by time. We are relatives. Whether Nguni, Kalenga, Tutsi, Yoruba, Berber, Koyi, Tswana, Shona, Bantu, Dinka, or Fulani, whether African, Arab, Asian, European, or American, the truth is that our family tree is not as fractured as we are told. The truth is, we were once one. Our machines do not make us more advanced than our ancestors. Our apps, our buildings, our GPS, our AI, none of this proves superiority. Why? Because our ancestors did it without those tools. What we now outsource to machines, they did with their minds. This is not to shame the modern world, but to awaken it. We must remember who we are. We must honor those who came before us by remembering that they were not ignorant primitives. They were architects, alchemists, astronomers, engineers, seers, and blacksmiths. They passed us a legacy, and we dropped it. If we want to rewrite the story, we must do so with humility. We must stop asking, who was first? Who was better? Who built this? And instead start asking, who were we together? Because the more we divide history into tribes and trophies, the more we lose its purpose. The purpose of history is not to boast, but to remember, not to glorify ourselves, but to understand ourselves. And perhaps, just perhaps, when we see that our history is recent, collective, and shared, we will finally begin to heal. Let us no longer be deceived by distorted history. Let us no longer chase the myth of supremacy. Let us return to our roots, not in hatred, but in harmony. Because if we look closely, if we trace the bloodlines, we will find that we are not many. We are one, and our history is just beginning.